I think it's going to be something that we're all going to benefit from, and we are in a great school system. And the reason it's a great school system is because what people have done in the past to get us where we are now, and it's our challenge to keep it moving forward. But let's look back at our past and welcome from the class of 1979, Ms. Rhonda Baldwin.
Good morning. It truly is a joy to be here and to get to share all of this with you. Guy Hanley III stood on this very stage in 1976, and he delivered his valedictorian speech. He began by saying, "I believe my great-great-grandfather, William Anderson Hanley, for whom this school is named, would be honored and proud tonight that I have mentioned his name because he always liked to receive praise and hear his name called." Well, at that very moment when Guy Hanley III said that, every light in this building went out. And for 10 long, dark seconds, there was no sound, there was no light, and all of a sudden, the lights came back on. And when they did, Guy Hanley, looking startled, said, "I believe he just heard me." Someone once said, most people carry in their hearts a picture of the land of their childhood. And while other impressions fade, this picture grows stronger and stronger. But long before that Hanley High School building came to be that you just saw in the previous slide, Roanoke's very first school was called the Roanoke Academy. In the early 1830s, just as settlers were entering this new territory, the surrounding land that we are occupying today housed the very first store in Roanoke, the first blacksmith shop, which was operated by slave labor, and the post office filled this area. The Roanoke Academy was a private school, and the very first school building was erected in 1845 on what is now the corner of Hanley Avenue and Main Street. Later, Peter Mitchell bought that building. He was also the father-in-law of W.A. Hanley, and he bought that school building, remodeled it, and it was used as a family dwelling in that area for many years. The next school building was called the Roanoke Institute. And following the Civil War, many schools used textbooks like the ones on the screen to help restore the pride in the defeated South. Reading textbooks such as these supposedly recounted the Christian morals and the leadership of Confederate generals like General Robert E. Lee and Thomas Stonewall Jackson, and those were public school textbooks. Representing the Institute was the Roanoke Male and Female College Company, who sold shares of stock. Here on the screen, you see where John Victor Stevens bought 2 3/5 shares at $25 each. The certificate is signed by the president of the Roanoke Institute, M.J. Mickle, and the secretary, Benjamin Franklin Weathers. After the Roanoke Institute burned in 1891, the Roanoke Normal College was built on the corner of Vaughn and West Point Streets, just to my left. During the fall term of 1901, which is the same season that the W.A. Hanley Manufacturing Company also opened, the college enrolled 292 students. The cost of board was between $8 and $10, depending on if you washed your own clothing. Classes offered were music, art, academics, elocution, physical culture, and commercial classes. Teachers were the graduates of the best colleges, and students were under the Christian influences. Also, in this magnificent building, they had a pleasant home life. Tuition at the Normal College was advertised in our local newspaper as free. Now, Wedowee and Lafayette at the same time also had a normal college, but they did not offer free tuition. In 1890, a saloon was located on our main street, where Trent's Pharmacy was later located. But the city closed down the saloon, and then the city began to operate their own Roanoke dispensary. Records show, and you have pictures of them there, records show that the city of Roanoke spent thousands of dollars a month stocking the dispensary with whiskey, beer, corn liquor, and such. And towards the back of this big dispensary record book, you'll find an entry, and that's there at the bottom of the slide, an entry of $1,000 each month being given to the Roanoke Normal College. Therefore, it was free tuition. On a Sunday evening in 1923, just as citizens were arriving for their evening church services all around town, the large red fire bell that's still on Chestnut Street rang out, and while the Bucket Brigade and the LaFrance fire truck, and practically the whole town, rushed to the college on the corner here, only to find that it was too late to rescue the beloved building. Fortunately, Roanoke wasn't completely without a school building. In 1907, the new building was erected just behind the Normal College, and it had been used as an overflow annex, but became the sole building for education in 1923 after that fire. In 1907, only 2 years before his death, W.A. Hanley and his wife, Adelia, sat down with the board of directors of our school system here, and they deeded over all of this land freely to the school system, and all the buildings that occupy the property. The name Hanley High School officially became the name of the school following the benevolent gift of the Hanley family.